Welcome to Cody in the Cinema. Today I'm discussing a few movies that I think are kind of fun to watch that involve the concept of the Great American Mall. This summer I traveled to the Mall of America on a long road trip all the way out to Yellowstone. And while I was there, I was able to pick up a copy of Berlin Alexanderplatz from the Criterion Collection, something I couldn't find where I live. But that's beside the point. We're here to talk about mall movies, right? Movies that give us that energy. And one of the reasons I wanted to point this out was because I recently watched a film on Tubi, of all places, that I really enjoyed, that I want to get a copy of as soon as I can. I thought this was a brilliant little satire. Kind of. It's called Chopping Mall from 1986. This is, well, you know what? There is a greedy corporate suit, and he has created this product, or I guess his workers probably created it for him, and he's selling it as a kind of night security to deter thieves. And in the beginning of Chopping Mall, you see a short video about a thief that's stopped by one of these little robots. And the little robots reminded me of Alpha from Power Rangers, the little guy that like walks around and makes funny noises, except they're like a little bit scarier and they don't work very well. And so overnight, some of the workers at this mall are sort of stuck there partying, and they end up getting locked in and chased around by these monsters. And it actually is kind of a funny satire about corporate greed and consumerism, but it's really entertaining, and it's less than an hour and a half. And I did find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. The black comedy and the humor and so forth is pretty spot on, because it, like when something or someone dies, like the machine thanks them and tells them to have a nice day. But definitely, for me, when I'm watching campy horror movies, sometimes I really get into something like that just feels like it's both scratching the cheesy horror itch and making me feel a little bit younger. And that particular one reminded me of Power Rangers, and for whatever reason, it just really appealed to me. I think I am going to order a copy of that. I saw one in Orbit DVD. I think I'm going to do that. The second one I wanted to talk about while I was here, that is also spooky mall stuff, and I guess I'll wait for an Arrow video sale for this. You may have heard of this film called Phantom of the Opera. Now, this is a truly great film. This is a silent film with Lon Chaney that has inspired other remakes and so forth of it. The Universal Monsters pack that I have also includes one of the versions of this. But what if I told you, if you haven't seen it, that there's a thing called Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge? Now that's a picture. You see, there's this young man named Eric whose house is set on fire, and he passes away courageously saving his girlfriend Melody. And on top of his house, where his house used to be, these people built a mall. Sounds kind of suspicious, doesn't it? Well, in that mall, there's a murderer, except this time it's not little robots. No. It's a scary phantom, but not a Phantom of the Opera, a Phantom of the Mall. And I really like that film, watching us try to uncover who is the killer. I believe Pauly Shore's in that one, in a small role. It has its dead parts, but it nails the aesthetic. You know, it makes you feel like the 80s, kind of. A little bit more so maybe than Chopping Mall. Chopping Mall is a little bit more low production, if that's even possible. But they're fun little hangout movies, you know, both of them. However, a piece of media I do own that I'm glad I bought, Mallrats. Okay, the Kevin Smith world is uneven. Okay, it doesn't always, like, if you watch his movies, sometimes they have these parts that aren't as good as others. It's just part of what you're getting into. But Mallrats is so much fun to watch, and it is totally a hangout movie. In some ways, it might be like the Rio Bravo of mall movies, right? It's a hangout. You know, because Rio Bravo is a hangout Western movie. That's what Tarantino said. It's just these guys hanging out on the mall. There's the pretense of a plot. They're trying to patch things up with some girlfriends, but really, it's just an excuse to get some of these fun actors together to hang out. And it does have pretty much the whole crew. It's even got the guy from Walking Dead that played Merle. Yeah, so Joey, Lauren Adams is in it, Ben Affleck's in it in a role, and then it's got several others. Jason Lee is one of the main characters. It's a real, like the Arrow version. You can invert the sleeve, which I think's cool. Or not the sleeve, the cover. You can invert the cover. And there's some good inserts in here. Like, I'm trying to make sure I don't show you one part of this I can't, because there's some bad things in here. But this is like one of the plans, you know. I won't fold out the whole thing, but this is like a floor plan of like a game action from Jay and Silent Bob, who are also in the movie. And I think there's a poster in here. No, it's not a poster. It's a booklet. Yeah, you can get in there. I out of all these movies, I think Clerks is very easily the best one. Obviously, Clerks is awesome. I like Clerks 2. And Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, I watched in a camper with a friend of mine many years ago, kind of a nostalgic memory, much like just the whole idea of these mall movies is nostalgic. So those are three, you know, kind of maybe they're on the sillier side, but I do enjoy them. And I think that there is, you know, something that can be said for movies that you watch just kind of to unlock those nostalgic feelings within yourself. If I had to say which of those three do I think is the actually best movie, I actually think it is Chopping Mall. I mean, Chopping Mall, which I hope I didn't call Chopping Block in this video, does have some pretty smart satire in it. Like, it's funny that all it took was like, you know, a streak of lightning to get these robots to malfunction. So if you did enjoy this content in any way and you want to click that like button, I would appreciate it. It'll help grow the channel. I often cover things like Criterions, Westerns, but sometimes I like to throw in this campy stuff too, because I enjoy campy cinema as well. Consider subscribing if you haven't, and we'll see you next time on Cody in the Cinema.